Well, I will start with this part or this point. I had to put my fucking shoe in my mouth on the nobody's doing shit during the break weeks. Papa
Oh
Smithy
yeah.
Papa Smithy came in and said, "Suck my insert word here." Uh, we'll say Australia. He said,
Units.
go do a shoey and get out of here." Because FlyQuest is apparently doing something this weekend, so we'll see what it is. But
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm curious to watch it,
I'm curious
but
to see what they do. Like, is it gonna involve other teams? Is it just gonna be FlyQuest? Like, what are we working with here?
yeah, I'm hoping it's something streamer related. I love streamer tourneys that
Same.
aren't like those Twitch. What were the Twitch ones?
Twitch rivals. Yeah.
Rivals. They were good, but once like Twitch started doing it in house, I thought some of the authenticity fell out a bit.
Yeah. I will say it's why I really like the Dantes tournament. I thought that was fun to watch.
Yep, that was really fun.
Like
Anything Drew does.
anything streamer tournaments in general. Like I just think there's a big market that I wish more pros would do of like pro am tournaments. And I mentioned
Mhm.
that earlier. It's like, why don't we see more of those where like top streamers interact with pros more consistently? Because when was the last time you saw top personalities? Like, when was the last time you saw LCS pros play with, I don't know, Electro, Miss Chim
Yeah.
Chim? I mean, just throw out your name out there. I haven't seen it in a long time. Like
Not
LS
yet.
is really the only streamer that I've seen them in. They aren't legally allowed to. They're not with streamers. Surely they're allowed to interact with streamers. Let me put a chat, by the way, over here. Alerts. Hold up.
We have not talked about Revenge or Quid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Produce Fault. But yeah, I mean if they hopefully it's something that is like involving a lot of streamers and a lot of people messing around and stuff. I mean it's probably gonna be something funny. I highly doubt it's something like super serious
But okay,
on the off weeks.
Crawcook makes a great point of probably because pros don't want to waste time on bad games. I don't get what people don't understand about how it is in your own best interest to do these community outreach things. And do you want to talk about the revenge points? Do you want to touch on that? Because I can kind of loop all that in together. Like
Yeah,
him
sure.
retiring.
Because I didn't watch much Revenge. Slash, I wasn't like a crazy fan, so I didn't know much about it. I just felt bad for all the people who were sad.
I mean, I didn't either. It's more like him going on Hotline League and he had some pretty good takes on there. Uh,
Mhm.
he notably went off about like the 100K salary in LA, which I think is entirely a fair argument of what he's saying. Where like $100,000 isn't enough, like isn't a good salary in LA. And coming from New York, I'll tell you, because I make just barely above that. Yeah, like it's not that much. Like for
Mhm.
pros, given the amount of hours that they do, absolutely. And the difference is like I know that my pay, like I can continue to climb up a ladder, and that'll get better and better as time goes on. Whereas like pros, like once you stop, you're done, and there is no
Yeah.
fallback. There's no like NFL retired players stuff, whatever. But like the number one thing that you need to be doing as a pro when salaries are that low is doing other fucking content.
Mhm.
That's your supplemental income. Do we not remember what the entirety of early esports was like, where people were not getting even paid close to $100,000? And yet they were
Yeah.
making it work because you get Twitch subscribers, you get donations, you get all like that's what built up Doublelift to be as big as he was. Like,
Mhm.
you gotta do other things because shocker, that also helps promote the league, which is why these
Yeah.
pro am things would be big, which is why like there's so many other things that you want to see happen that would help grow it. But when pros don't do that and it's like, oh well, we just need to focus purely on the game, well look where that's gotten you.
Yeah. And I think it is a big thing too. Like, if you watched Bjergsen's kind of career arc, like he didn't stream a lot towards once TSM started to get super successful. He kind of completely quit streaming, and I I honestly don't think as many people cared about his retirement as did Double Lips
Yeah.
or Double Lift leaving because Double Lift was a bigger streamer, and having that like innate ability to get people to like care about you a lot in your stream kind of helps that relatability a lot more. I mean, Con makes a good point too, talking about the Kelsey brothers. Like
Oh, did you watch
people,
the episode today?
no, I don't watch their
It
show.
was so
Is it
good.
worth it?
Oh my god, yeah. It was so good. There was a
Mhm.
line from Jason where they're talking about the after party. I don't know if you saw the videos. He's out there in a freaking Rey Mysterio mask that he apparently picked up off the
Yes.
ground in Vegas. That was not his. He picked it up off the ground in Vegas and
Mhm.
wore it for the rest of the night. And he's out there like saying he's doing like some sort of like stomach roll dance move. And his wife's
Yeah.
like, "You're not rolling your stomach. You're just thrusting."
Oh
And he's
yeah, I
like,
saw
no,
that clip.
I'm trolling my stomach. And she's like, no, you're thrusting. Like, I would know. And he's like, yeah. Well, you have 3 kids with me. Yeah, you would know. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And Travis is over there dying in the fucking side. It's like, yes.
I saw another good meme of like it said Taylor Swift has Travis Kelsey locked in now because she gave him the belly rub. And people are like, it's so over.
It
They're
is.
like, once you belly rub a man, it's done.
Yep.
Especially after he does a good job. That's something he cares about.
Yep. But
It's
yeah.
just part of life.
I mean, look at how much they're doing. Shit.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you
I
off.
mean, no, I mean, it was a good point, and it's right. Like, you streaming, while it doesn't an immediate help, I would say, I guess performance as much. Like, it really doesn't to show all your hands. Uh, most like high profile Chinese players were doing it anyways, and Doinb was bringing out really weird picks regardless, even streaming a lot and all the time. And it wasn't like it made him a bad player. I wouldn't say anyone says that his peak was bad when he was streaming. And so I just don't really buy it that like streaming is somehow this insane disadvantage, and especially for a region that's struggling with viewership and relatability. Like
Yeah.
streaming, I think, is a huge part of it.
Do you see the Mark Z 4% tweet? Raising viewership?
No, what he tweeted about it.
Let me pull it up. Just so I'm not misquoting it.
Gosh, I haven't seen a lot this week, dude. I need to
Mark
save up
Z
my time.
he kind of like I'm starting to get a little worried about him if I'm being honest.
Why?
I'm worried that he's fallen on the sword for Riot. He said if you missed the LCS AMA last week, we talked viewership 2024 is even better with past comparisons with 1 actually matching viewership and not including pre or post show games, 2 full splits including playoffs, and 3 time shift. And he tweeted out a picture of Reddit that said LCS average viewership of 4% compared to spring 2023. Here's the problem. When you tweet out a 4% rise, guess what's going to happen when a 4% drop happens?
Oh yeah, people are gonna come meme you.
Not only meme, but like understandably, like if you're making a big deal out of a 4% rise, well, you should make an equally big deal out of a 4% drop, which
Yeah,
I'm really curious to see what happens after this 2-week break. Because if there's gonna be a drop, we know there's gonna be a drop, and what I'm trying to think through it. What's probably gonna happen is there's gonna be a drop, and they're gonna be like, oh well, live audience was the problem. Well, you're the ones that didn't develop a second studio. And you also, for Riot's sake, you cut
yeah.
back on staff to the point where LCS and VCT share the same staff. So that's entirely on you as well. Like,
Mhm.
I just, that's going to come back to bite him in the ass.
I mean, also going through his Twitter, yeah, he probably just needs to. Transparency is good, but sometimes you're over talking. Like his tweet about the Super Bowl, saying we only had a whopping 2% loss in viewership for the Super Bowl. It's like, dude, you don't need. talk about it though.
No, that's
I
one of
would
the
just
you don't say a fucking word.
yeah, because there's nothing he can do, in my opinion. There is no point you can make to convince me that like it was a smart idea to stream a League of Legends games on during the Super Bowl. Which I guess we weren't streaming exactly during it, but
We were through the first half.
oh, you're right. Yeah. And it's like come on.
But
Like
here I had to listen to Monty and Thorin go through
mhm,
this for 40 minutes this morning, and I'm glad I did because it flushes out exactly what I was thinking, and like I can pretty much regurgitate what they're saying to a certain extent, but it's all stuff that like I was already in line
yeah.
with anyways. Why think this through? Why would there only be a 2% drop whatever the Super Bowl's on? There's two explanations for that.
Oh
I'm
man.
asking you.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to say it. I thought you were
Say
about to say it. I was
no, go ahead.
it's
Say one of
probably
them.
because LCS is backburner like option. Mentally that's what I'm thinking. Or
Oh
a
no.
like oh no, what is it then? What do
One
they think?
Here's one, and I agree with this. We've gotten more viewers this year. That 4% raise is true, but we've also
Mhm.
introduced Portuguese and LEC co-streaming, of which
Oh,
Cadril
that's
has more people now. Bailano has viewers, which means if we're about the same, only a 4% increase, but Cadril's getting 35K and the Portuguese stream is getting 25K, that means it's offsetting somewhere, which means that we're having less American viewers
oh,
watching on the American Twitch and YouTube streams. So the Super Bowl doesn't matter as much to non American viewers who are
yeah.
tuning in because they don't care about American football. Whereas every single American, not every American, but 120
Yeah.
million Americans are tuning into the Super Bowl. So either A, you have an audience that is more European and more international mix that is not American, which is a big problem, or B, you truly have a diehard gaming audience that doesn't know a life outside of video games, which I personally think, while not a bad thing to a certain extent, is worrisome. You want people that engage with normal society so that they can spend money on the normal society things that make a sport successful, like food and beverage, ticket sales, all that.
Which I highly doubt it's B, yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it to
It
be
is a
either.
really good time. It is probably A. That's really bad thinking about it. Which I wasn't at all. I honestly, unless you would have brought it up, I wouldn't have thought that as the answer. I was honestly just thinking like either like either something to do with it's a back burner option or it is which what isn't gonna be back burner to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But also like in general, I just don't get why they choose to play games on Super Bowl Sunday. It's such a busy
I
American
Call of
day.
Duty had this debate like 5 years ago and remedied it because there was a big
Mhm.
debate for a long time. Like people were pissed. Scump, I forget what year. Oh, it was the year that the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. What was it 2016, 2017? I want to say 2018. The Nick
What?
Foles year.
Oh, I don't even remember that year.
Either way,
I can look it up.
whatever year that was, Scump was still playing professionally in Call of Duty. He's a big Eagles fan, and he raised holy hell because they scheduled a league match during the Super Bowl,
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
he came out and was like, "Fuck you." No, we'll reschedule. Like, we'll find a way to work. And like it was a debate all the way up until the morning of the Super Bowl, and then the morning of the Super Bowl, the Call of Duty League like rescheduled the games, I think, or they might have announced it like a day or two before, but they didn't end up playing games on Super Bowl Sunday, and that became precedent from that day forward. Is like, no, they're not playing games because everybody wanted to
It's
watch the
funny.
goddamn Super Bowl.
Yeah, which is a fair. It's legitimately the most watched thing in like American sports.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it's only behind the moon right now. The moon landing is the only thing that is competing with NFL football in American television. Like every year for the past like 3 years, I'm pretty sure too. Like the top 100 most watched shows or events on TV are usually just filled with football. Like,
yeah,
isn't like 70% of it football?
yeah. I remember back at CBS, like everything, like you, and this was
Yeah.
brilliantly done by Peacock, by the way. I don't know if you paid it.
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed that it happened. Uh, do you remember, or have you seen the TED TV series on Peacock that's come out?
No, but I've seen a lot of memes about it, and I know a lot of people say good things.
It is really good. Do you know when they premiered it and pushed the advertising for it?
Yeah, during that Peacock playoff game.
Bingo! Right
Yeah,
after their most watched thing on the platform, which was the Chiefs Bills game that was exclusive to Peacock, because they
yeah,
know that sports is how you introduce something. And then all of a sudden, what do you know? Ted's out there in the ether. One, because people either
yeah.
saw the advertisements for it, that Peacock was like showing it afterwards, or
Mhm.
two, because people just naturally wanted to see it and it just fucking happens. Like,
Al- Also, very smart thing they did, because I remember my buddy got the free trial for it, which was a month long. 3 days after the free trial ended, he did watch Ted. He was one of the ones who's talked to me about it. He was like, it actually was pretty good. But also 3 days after it ended, Oppenheimer was gonna be on Peacock, so he ended up buying Peacock for one more month
that's
because he wanted to
there.
finish Ted and watch Oppenheimer.
There you go.
So it does work. You aren't wrong. Like,
Those sports lead-ins are big, and that's why like
yeah,
we're. It's also the same thing where like there's a reason why we need to be after the LEC right now because the
yeah,
LEC is the premier product. We should be after them to try and like segue viewers in. But on top of
yeah,
that, you still have to be developing a North American audience as well. Like that's great. We've got the. I think it's safe to say we've got the international audience that will watch LCS on lock right now, which is great. They're not
yeah.
growing the North American audience yet.
Nope. And like, I think it's going to be really difficult, which we've already talked about enough, and we don't need to keep killing. But without anything happening in person, it's hard to get Americans to do something. Americans just love going to things, events, and even watch parties, anything like that. People just love being out. And especially right now, where social media isn't it technically like more on the decline than it has been an uptrend for the first time in a long time.
Yep, people want to get out more.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense. Like going out and doing stuff is fun. I mean, even for the NBA, like I was really excited for this All-Star break coming. Granted, I did not realize they everything's like $200 tickets, so I
Wait,
will not be
where's the All
going to
Star game at?
Itchy this year.
Oh, it's in Indy.
Yeah,
Oh
but
shit!
and me and my friends were thinking about going, but it's like $250 to get in. So
Wow.
we were like, yeah, we were just like, whatever. But seeing everybody here, how busy the city has been, and looking at them making the buses free. So right now is like a time I actually took one of the buses just to see what they're like inside this inner city travel because it
Yeah.
was free, and I was like, why not? I know everybody on it right now is probably gonna be fine because it's very touristy right now.
Yeah.
And watching how much a city gets cleaned up from events being held, it really makes you realize like I think like big events are pretty awesome for an area and how fun they are.
Dude, you have no idea how much of a thrill it was to be able to walk to work and walk
Hmm.
home during Worlds 2022 and see advertisements everywhere
Oh, I
for the
bet.
event. It was nuts. Like you walked into Times Square and Star
Mhm.
Walk-In is playing on the marquee billboard. You walk over towards Port Authority, like everywhere leading up to Madison Square Garden, they have ads out for Worlds like on
Mhm.
billboards where currently like Call of Duty sits and other games like that are. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, it's thrilling and like you just see people take pictures of everything and it's like, oh, this is so it's so awesome whenever it's like
yeah,
in your area and you can feel the vibrancy that comes with it. The excitement goes up.
yeah. And then imagine running your mainly, well, you could basically at this point call it completely online audience on during the Super Bowl where everybody's going out to party and then going, well, it wasn't that big of a hit, so who cares? It's like I get it, but it also when you start saying like, oh, we don't think it was a big hit, I think you do start to make your at least some people, and I'm not trying to be rude to them, but it makes you kind of go, how out of touch can you like realistically be to
It's
what you're talking about? Like,
it's one of those moments where I I thoroughly enjoyed one getting a lick back on Mark, where
Mhm.
uh when he said, or he tweeted out, like, if you watch the Super Bowl over the LCS, you're dead to me. It's like, okay, well, now we're even because you killed a roadshow, so you're dead to me as well. Like, congrats,
Yeah.
tit for tat, we're good now.
Yeah.
uh but second, that's one of those moments where I should have done this. I should have shot Travis a DM that morning and been like, so does everybody still not know sports ball today? Or is like today the one day where it's acceptable to talk about,
Yeah.
sports being a big thing?
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is like, what were you gonna say?
I no, I just want to throw this out there real quick because I this just crossed my mind. Uh, I do want to put a message out there for those, if you know anybody that was affected by the shootings today at the parade, in Kansas City. Uh, Please, my condolences. My heart goes out to all of them. I know kids were involved. Like, it's a really shitty situation, but just wanted to
Mhm.
say on behalf of us, like, obviously our hearts with everybody.
Yep. Yep. Those
More than
kinds of
thoughts and
things.
prayers are needed, but I'm not going to drag Paul into gun reform stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll leave it at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. It is
But
just kind of wild for a country that is primarily built on sports. Like, I would say, yeah, at this point, like that we've taken a hard stance as an esport to just go full online
yeah.
because
Oh,
like there's just so much there. But granted, I gotta quit running this into the ground, and there were some great games played this week. Unfortunately, my
there
team played
were.
none of them. Yeah,
I mean, technically you did, but you played on the other side of a great game, which was
yeah,
Shopify playing well.
yeah, we suck. So
We're good.
it's over. I think NRG is dead.
No, you guys will be fine. Remember
Probably.
no,
I
because
feel dead
think about it, who were your two losses to?
this week.
You only lose to bad teams, and you lost to Cloud9 and Shopify, two bad teams, so you're fine.
Dig.
Dig. Okay, you lost to two bad teams, so you're fine. Like,
Mm,
you lost to
I don't
fifth and
feel fine.
sixth in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, really, the way I took it was this. I took it as okay, we lost to a team that also is using the same excuse we're using. We're gonna heat up later. You guys just wait when we show you what we have later. And then we also lost to a team that we actually can't lose to because we need to get into playoffs. And at this point, we're actually on the edge.
I
We're
mean,
one game out.
you're one game, but what's your schedule look like?
It really doesn't matter at this point.
I mean, it kind of does.
We could lose to anybody.
You guys, oh,
We play
oh, never mind.
TL
Never mind. You guys are actually on the
Immortals.
chopping block.
We play Immortals and Shopify, who we should beat, but who knows? We play FlyQuest and TL. So,
And 100 Thieves.
and we ended with 100 Thieves, who now I don't even know if I can call a guaranteed win. So, at this point, we're looking at 2-3 in that. From if you take our previous ability
Yeah.
and you put it there, 2-3 is expected.
And as I forget who I talked to on Immortals, but like or no, no, was it Shopify that mentioned it to, or yeah, I think it's Shopify. When I talked to Boogie, he said that he's never lost to Palafox in contracts. I don't think.
Good. I'm
Because did
glad.
you guys lose to Shopify first round? Yeah, Shopify beat you guys the first round. And then
Yeah, I
last
know.
summer, last year, Boogie also beat Contracts and Palafox. Boogie has never lost to you guys.
Mhm.
So that's another loss. So add that to the 1-4 tally. Are you scared
Yeah,
yet?
I've been scared at this point. Like the only good thing about not about cheering for energy is that I know at least like Andy Miller is not a guy who just sits there.
Yeah.
So at least if this happens, he's gonna he'll let this could go out the rest of the year. That's not what I'm saying. That he's gonna make changes between spring and summer, which I mean, if we get this low, there could be, but I don't even know what you would change, to be
Well, that's what I
honest.
was gonna ask you. What's your problem right now? Like, what needs to happen for you guys to turn around?
I don't know. They're just playing really bad, honestly, on the macro side. Like a lot of their plays they go for are really deep dives that if they work out, take over the game. If they fail, cripple you. And they really love doing that under turrets before level sixes. And I'm okay with it because it shows some amount of I guess confidence, and it shows you want to do something proactivity, but when it doesn't work, it feels really bad.
Yeah.
And then they just keep doing it too. Like they look like we looked game one, if I'm being honest. That's how it feels watching Immortal sometimes. I'm like, all right, I'm like, at some point we gotta slow down from a death a minute. We can't keep this up all game, and then they keep going, and it's like, all right, maybe you can have a death a minute, and you're just sitting there like, whatever. But the weirdest part is too, it's like game one in this way, they aren't really that far behind in gold because they farm so well. So I'm sitting here like lying to myself. Maybe they can come back. Like I don't know what's going on. They're not really that behind, and then they just keep
Roll.
running
Yeah,
it.
they roll over and
Yeah,
die. Well, not roll over
because
and die. They run it.
yeah, they just keep going in, and it's like, I mean, I guess, I mean the C9 game though, they really just sent it so much that it was just out of control. I was
Yep.
like, what have we done? And then they would pull it back with something, and then they would just resend it. And I was like, what are we doing?
But that honestly, and I said this to Khan when we were watching the Cloud9 NRG game on Saturday. I was like, I'm watching this, and one, as long as there's not a pause, I feel comfortable that we'll be Cloud9. But two, like they didn't do anything to win this game. NRG
No.
just chucked it. Like
Yeah, we just
NRG
kept
literally,
going.
you gift wrapped it, handed it to him, and was like, "Here you go." And we almost did the same thing, to be fair. But we also were hands diffing him the entire, like, all the way leading up to the point where we decided to gift wrap it to him.
Yep. And it's even worse because you're sitting there and you're watching Vulcan sprint it on repeated plays over and over again. I'm watching Vulcan sprint it against us. And instead of just taking these Vulcan kills and then going and doing getting something or doing something, they go, "Oh well, we killed Bard. What if we just dive the turret again?" And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you don't have to do that. Nobody's asking you to do this right now. They go, but it just looks so good, and then they do it and they die, and I'm like, whatever, man. It's like they're honestly scarring me from turret dives. Like they're destroying my mind on turret dives. But then you watch LEC and it's like you watch G2 and they're perfectly handing off the
Yep.
aggro, like inter intertwining it, and I'm like, okay, we've beaten them before. Maybe we can do this
Yeah,
if we
we'll
just
be
practice
fine.
more.
Just give it time.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about that.
but it's just I don't know, man. In the moment, I'm annoyed, but I it is honestly just one of those things where I can old man yell at clouds all I want, but it doesn't matter because they're probably going to turn it on in playoffs. That's what they seem to do. So,
Time will tell.
yeah, they get to best of fives and then they start playing
I'm curious to
super
see
clutch.
if we can match you guys though. Because this
Yeah.
it was a comment that was brought up earlier of like, oh, NRG and Cloud9, like they're gonna level up come playoffs. And it's like, well, one, we don't technically know. We think we
Yeah,
know,
you
but
don't.
you don't fully know. But even if they do, why does that automatically mean that 100 Thieves and those above them won't also level up?
Mhm.
Like, okay, sure, C9 Energy might get better in best of fives, but like you're acting like other teams around them can't learn and get better as well and scale up. And like the entire
Yeah.
league gets better in best of fives. Like that can happen.
Yeah. I mean, it is I think it's the argument of you're behind. and you have nothing left to argue, so you might as well try and say like, well, we'll get better when it matters. Like the best place we can be is when we're about to be eliminated. Because at this point, that's where NRG and C9 are at. They're at the point where like they're saying, "Oh, well, we'll get better when we're about to be eliminated from playoff contention." It's like you can just say that up until it doesn't work anymore. I mean, it's the same thing FlyQuest did. Like we were saying last year, there's probably a couple clips of us and multiple podcasts saying like, man, they're sprinting it, but they would be the scariest 8 seed in the world to play.
Yeah.
Like they'd be terrifying because if they can figure out how to play like spring split, they can absolutely cook you, and you just got cooked by the last place seed.
I'll be honest. I'm not scared about C9 anymore.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
I
like
agree.
I like last year I agree. I was terrified of FlyQuest getting in because like they were showing like mechanics in lane that were just absurd. And it was a matter of whether they would put it all together. Like Prince was crushing in lanes. Impact was like still a rock in the top lane. Vikla was performing incredibly well. That like he'd have his int moments, but it was like okay, but we've already seen where his potential can be in the year. He might be fine. From what I've seen from Cloud9 this year, Fudge isn't gonna win a lane in top lane. Like his mechanics, like or his hands are not there to the point where he's smashing lanes anymore. I would say Berserker is nowhere close to what he once was. Like he is
No.
not at the level that he was a year ago. Vulcan is still at the same level that he was a year ago, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Like we thought he'd rebound as he comes back to Cloud9 and it's a better environment, and clearly like that's not the case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jojopion, I would argue, is playing well, and Blabber, like when your lanes are losing, there's only so much you can do. Granted, I still think Blabber ran it a few times, but like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna like? Look at that 100 Thieves versus C9 game. People want to point to 100 Thieves as like a negative that they threw the game, sure, but I'm also looking at those lanes and saying, okay, Quid was ahead of JoJo. Sniper was ahead of Fudge,
Yep.
and bot lane was, I think, even, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. Or no, I think we were ahead in bot lane too, in CS, barely, but not by much. Or might have. I'm not 100% sure with bot lane, but like you're no longer winning lanes that you used to be winning, which is good. It's really good. I'm glad that newer talent's coming in and like checking the old
Mm-hmm.
guys, because that's what
Yeah.
has to happen. Ask Heretics in the LEC this year. But for that reason, it's like I would be more scared of 100 Thieves than I would be of Cloud9, because I don't have faith that Fudge and them are going to be able to step up in lane and just magically be better come playoffs. Their team fighting and this like cohesion there might be better, sure, but like what happens when the young guns who are already checking you in other areas click and they
Yeah.
all of a sudden get the team fighting that you're supposedly going to be better at? What happens when that happens? That are 100 Thieves just like obnoxiously too good in terms of or in relation to C9?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously I think FlyQuest is like hands down favorite right now. Nobody's
I
denying
mean,
that.
yeah.
I'm not like trying to say that 100 Thieves is going to go on the Smash League. No, FlyQuest still holds that man. I'm just saying relative 100 Thieves to C9. Like, would I be worried about playing them? A little bit. Am I worried about it as much as I was 2 weeks ago? No. No, I see a clear pathway for us to win that series now.
Yep. And realistically, C9 doesn't. I mean, one. There's probably. What do you think the odds are that they get Sven back? He's a free agent soon.
Oh, dude,
Like, would it be worth it?
I
I
think
think
if
it would.
Sven said he doesn't want to play support.
That's true. He did say he's done.
Berserker's not like, I don't think he goes back to support at all.
Yeah, and they're already overpaying though. Maybe they just spend enough money to go back to support like at that point. But it's kind of one of those when you look at them, it's like, okay, Fudge got ahead because of a play. Like 100 Thieves took a really bad fight, and he got a few kills on Olaf, and he became a real problem for a minute. But then all of a sudden, when 100 Thieves got enough items to be able to pop him, he wasn't really doing too hot in the longer the game went on Olaf, which I guess you relatively aren't supposed to be perfect late game, but you also can. I think you're supposed to be more of a menace than he was.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
definitely.
Blabber and JoJo, they don't look terrible, but it also seems like they're kind of the argument of like cohesion really matters. Like you can have the hands of just absolute saints, but if both of you are just two dudes who love fighting and you really suck each other into it, like, oh, well, man, I felt like the way that came out was not right. But
You're going down a
yeah,
fanfic rabbit hole there, brother.
I know.
You were
But
doing
they
something.
really they really pull each other into like fighting a lot, and you can tell sometimes they make each other overextend,
Yeah.
or at least be caught out in places they shouldn't, and it just makes fights a lot harder. And it doesn't help that Vulcan's just not playing great. He's not playing, I would say, completely terrible, but he's definitely not playing like somebody who would be a part of a super team.
Yeah.
Like neither is, well, Berserker played better the 100 Thieves game, but up until then, I think it would be very fair to be skeptical.
Yeah. And again, like, don't let, as much as this is going to pain you, don't let the win against NRG distract you from the fact that Cloud9 is now 1-5 in their last 6
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
That's obnoxious. 1-5. And they have yet to win a game where there's not a pause.
And remember, well, isn't NRG also like 1-5 in their
I
last
think so, yeah. I think NRG and C9 are
six?
both like,
Yeah, we're doing abysmally bad too, and that's my one thing too. I thought after the C9 game, I was like, well, we kind of sprinted it into them and gave them a win here. Like, honestly, C9's problems might still be big, and ours are massive too. Like, it does look like the top two dogs from last year are just struggling out of their minds right
yeah.
now. Like,
Which is also
and
indicative of a meta shift.
true, true. That is a fair point. And to even be worse for them, which I know this is bad news for me too, the Immortals and Dig don't actually look like just complete rollovers.
Yeah.
And neither does Shopify, for being honest. Like, all three of those teams at the bottom could knock one of those two out.
Yeah.
Like, I know I sound doomsday for myself, but there's a real world where us or like TL, NRG, or C9, one of them could not be in finals.
All right,
Like
Gundyr,
TL would have to fall a lot harder though.
don't want to use that analogy today. Somebody tells you to place $1,000 down in Vegas right now. What two teams are missing playoffs? What are you betting on right now?
Two. Sheesh.
Immortals and Shopify are tied for 7th and 8th. As of right
Mhm.
now, they would be missing it. Cloud9, NRG, and Dig are all one game away from that. Of note,
I just
Shopify is playing Immortals the first day that we come back.
Immortals is gonna be one of the teams I pick.
Okay.
And
Immortals
then
final schedule is Shopify,
it's
NRG,
hard.
100 Thieves, C9, TL.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I think I would go with Immortals as one. And then going through it. I gotta go through Diggs really quick. Play Shopify. Dig plays Cloud9. Dig plays TL. Dig.
Oh,
They
you're
play
done.
FlyQuest, Team Liquid, Cloud9, Shopify, 100 Thieves. Like, I'm not saying C9 is a guaranteed loss, but C9 is also fighting for their life right now, and Dig is playing the top three teams, C9 and Shopify.
Yeah.
And Shopify plays both of the two lower teams, so that gives them a chance. And then they just have to get one upset. They're done with playing FlyQuest. So I think
And any team
Shopify
that's
has an
done with
easier
playing
road.
FlyQuest has a leg up on everybody else.
Yeah.
The question is, like, the biggest question mark is just 100 Thieves TL.
Yeah.
Those
No,
are
for
the
real.
two teams that, like, if you're looking at Team Liquid has dropped games off of bottom teams. So, like, it's completely reasonable to expect that they could drop one or two of these, and
Such a good
they have a
point.
tiny bit more wiggle room than anybody else that they can, like, do it. 100 Thieves, like, I is there any matchup barring FlyQuest for 100 Thieves remaining schedule that you look at their opponent and say their opponent should be favored despite the record?
200 Thieves plays.
Yeah.
Um,
By the way, catching up real quick while Paul looks on this. Old Man Moving Slow, thank you for the follow. Jet7, thank you for the follow. And Bazball, thank you for resubscribing with Prime, brother.
they play FlyQuest, but so that'll probably be one where they're not favored. And then I would say get back to me on that question before the last weekend because they play at NRG
Well,
as well.
I want your opinion now because obviously that will change
Yeah,
after the second week. Is there anybody other than FlyQuest that you think that they shouldn't be favored against but are right now?
I think NRG by the end of the year
Okay.
would be a team where you could say that. Like, and I'm not even trying to
No,
be
that's fair.
biased.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah, I think Shopify, Immortals, Dig, they should be favored over those three with how they've been playing right now and how those teams have been playing. I would say NRG gets benefit of the doubt simply because they're still playing with a stupid amount of confidence,
Yeah.
regardless of how inty it is. But if they wrap that up, it's not a hands problem, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Their hands seem perfectly fine. It's their brains right now.
And
And
you guys are one of our 3 losses, which is I think an
true,
important note. We've lost to only
true.
3 teams this year so far. One was Cloud9,
Yeah.
who we rectified our demon there. But then also FlyQuest and NRG.
Yeah.
But
And I
that's
also
one.
think
The only
oh
reason
what?
I ask you that is because, like I said, I see a world where TL can drop games against lower tier teams.
Yep.
We haven't seen so far 100 Thieves not perform against the teams that are below them.
Mhm.
So, like, if I'm looking at my schedule, like FlyQuest, you guarantee is a loss, more or less. And then if I'm looking at 100 Thieves, I'm thinking they haven't lost anybody below them yet. They're kind of the gatekeepers for now. So,
Probably went out. Yeah. I mean, and also you gotta look like TL's schedule isn't just a cakewalk to end the year.
what do
I
they
mean,
got?
it's NRG, C9, FlyQuest, Dig, Immortals.
So those final 2 games are
Probably the two easiest.
interesting. For context, 100 Thieves locks playoffs actually. Or we could lock it by the end of the second weekend or the first weekend back.
Yeah.
We win our first game. We just need then the lose or whoever wins the Shopify versus Immortals matchup on Saturday to lose on Sunday.
Yep.
And then we're locked playoffs. Guaranteed.
I mean, I would say like 3 more wins would lock you in winners, right?
What's the
Which I
summer
know
or
is a
what's the
lot
spring
to ask.
playoff format?
I don't really know. They
Have
is there
they
like
have they
a
said anything? Oh, why?
there is an upper bracket. Okay, yeah. Top 4. So yeah, I mean 2 or 3 more wins should just put you in upper bracket.
Bro, that would be
There's not
so
that many games left.
big.
There's only
So
what,
big.
6 games left?
Yeah,
Yeah, 6.
5.
5? Yeah, 5. Yeah, you guys probably I I would be shocked, which I'm not trying to cast or curse you or anything or but I would be shocked if you're not in upper bracket at this point.
I mean, we'd have to lose to one of the lower teams at this point. Like
Yeah.
you will, in my opinion, I think you will know whether 100 Thieves is a top 4 team after Saturday of us returning. We play Dig.
Mhm.
If we beat Dig, I think we're fine. Obviously,
Yeah.
things could flip. It is what it is. But like I feel very confident if we can beat Dig, that's proof that yes, we are still going to beat the teams below us. I'm not saying we're going to beat FlyQuest at all, but if you beat FlyQuest, then you guarantee you're locked. So
No,
run
at that point you're fighting for first.
if we beat FlyQuest, we're tied for first. And yeah,
Yeah,
we
you're
control our own destiny
a whole
entirely.
different world. That makes you guys really soon.
I refuse.
Crazy.
I'm not thinking like that. I'm just my only goal, being honest, like my entire goal for
Mhm.
the remainder of this is to go 3-2.
Yeah,
Beat Dig, Shopify, Immortals,
yeah.
lose games to FlyQuest and NRG, secure upper bracket. I'm happy.
Mhm.
I'm beyond happy. And if we can finishing top 4 in spring would be fucking phenomenal. I'd be so happy.
Dude, that first weekend back is about to be just a war for me. We played TL and Immortals, like two of our just kryptonites. One of them has a better record than us, so that's a tough game, and one of them is last in the league, so you know we're gonna lose. It's just like, ugh, ugh. I'm also in a bad mood because Carolina
Yeah,
keeps
I was gonna say
losing. It's
Carolina
really
keeps
starting to
losing close
piss me
games.
off.
You
It's
can't clutch them
pissing me
out.
off.
I'm scared for you guys now.
I mean, we make the tourney.
You make the
We'd have
tourney, yeah, but like,
it'd have to be a meteor fall.
oh,
But
did you see Khan's take?
yeah,
Khan,
I'm not even
don't be
responding, Con.
feeding me this. Don't be feeding Paul
I don't think it's
hopium.
gonna happen.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen either.
I'm too much in my upset era to read this and go, there's hope. There's
Here,
no hope. The sky is black at all times for me.
here's my hot prediction. Okay, I said that C9 was gonna lose their 2 games and then go undefeated after the break. Uh, I'm still gonna hold true to that. I'm gonna say that Cloud9 comes back and 5-0s their remaining 5 games and looks doing so. Gets to best of 5s, doesn't make top 3.
C9. You think they come back in 5-0? Inch
I think they come back in 5-0, but then
I'd take that.
I don't think they drop. I think they drop the ball in playoffs.
Yeah. I don't think they 5-0. Honestly, I think
Well, wait, do they
I
play
mean,
FlyQuest? Yeah, never mind. They have to play FlyQuest. Never mind. I'm not willing to take that 5-0.
yeah,
4-1. They 4-1.
doesn't C9 have a tough schedule too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they play, bro. They play Fly, TL. Okay, Dig, Immortals. That's pretty easy. And Shopify. Okay, never mind.
Oh, never mind. They've already played FlyQuest then. Have they?
No, they play
Oh,
Fly.
no. Okay.
They play. So I think your OG prediction you should just stick with. They get 0-2'd and then 3-0.
Well, no, I said they 0-2 and 5-0. My original prediction was that they go 0-2 this past weekend. They lose to
Oh
both
yeah,
us
you're
and you
right.
guys. And then they go undefeated when they come back.
Yeah, that's not
Because
happening.
the thing that worries me was something that Blabber said in the interview, where he's like,
What?
"We're playing every day throughout the break. They're not.
True.
They're not stopping. They're scrimming the entire time to fix it."
Yeah, but the
I,
question is, can they fix it?
I'm worried that they're gonna implode. I'm worried that they're not gonna be able to fix it, and that it's at this point just a hand stiff of like the players not being good enough right now to do it.
I mean, there's no worse way to come back because we don't talk about them a lot. But TL is looking good now. Like they're not looking perfect, but if we're being honest, nobody looks perfect.
No,
Like
it's the
this has been
LCS.
a pretty
Nobody's gonna
close
look
season.
perfect.
Yeah, this is a close season. Well, yeah, there's that nobody's gonna look perfect too, but it's also like this has been a really close season
Yeah.
for every team. I feel like with the talent consolidation, it's really ramped up the amount of like the lack of parity, I guess, or the parity, right?
Yeah. I would also
I'm
just say the
using that word
rookies.
wrong. But yeah, that too. It's like just gonna be tough. And I don't know. Like C9 coming back and having to run that gauntlet is just so bad for the mental. So bad. And Shopify, like, not really a free win anymore because they're just gonna keep getting more time with B-Void, and B-Void's not looking like the Nepo hire that we were all told he was. He's actually looking like a legitimate hire.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a difficult one. They're in a tough spot, and APA is kind of coming for blood.
It's gonna be wild, but I will say this: we won't know for 2 weeks.
Facts. I mean that
It
is a
breaks my
crime. No.
heart.
Okay.
It literally breaks my heart that we have to wait that goddamn long to find out.
That's what I was thinking.
And the LEC's in their final weekend too, aren't they? Yeah, the LEC's in their final weekend.
Which Fnatic unlost?
I mean, okay, swapping it over to LEC. Do you think anybody stands a chance against G2? Because I'm saying no.
No.
Who do you think makes it to finals against them?
Well, actually, no. Khan said this a couple weeks ago. My fever dream is still alive, which I did not realize when he said that. Dude, I thought, okay, I was very sick, so maybe I was just being a moron. But very sick me did not realize that G2 BDS game was not finals until like the next time that they start streaming LEC again, and I got the notification and went, "Oh, there's so much to watch. Am I an idiot?" Which I am. But I started watching it all, and it's LEC's. Honestly, dude, I'm coming around to this.
What
I'm kind of
the
liking all
schedule?
these, yeah, best of threes and brackets and
I
everything feeling this important. I kind of like it.
I love it, other than the fact that it will get repetitive by summer.
Agreed. Good point.
That's
That is
the
a good
only
point.
that is the only flaw. But that said, I'm fucking ecstatic to watch K Corp come back at it again and all the drama that unfolds in them.
Yeah, that will be very interesting. Like that, yeah, that's gonna be super interesting. But back to the teams that are still left. No offense, Skakor.
Matt
I
had
will
a
give them.
Matt had a clean TO or a clean 2-0 against
Yeah,
Vitality, and Fnatic had a very close 2-1 against SK. So
no, I was about to say like I do think Matt looks hot. Like they look pretty good, but I just don't think anybody can touch G2 right now. And BDS is honestly the actual like second place gatekeeper. Like
they are, which
they
sucks
are
because
very
like
good at gatekeeping.
they're just not great against G2, but nobody is. Like nobody's on G2's
Nobody
level.
can get them. Yeah, it's not like their fault. You know what I mean? It's just like how it is. G2 is like actually just a gatekeeper against everybody. Especially that poor BDS series because I know G2 was close with Fnatic, and so people are like maybe Fnatic's a bunch of dogs and they're super good. But you can't even blame like BDS. G2 came out that series in the upper bracket and went crazy.
Yeah.
Like they were playing like they had a point to prove, and they proved it. If I'm being honest, they made me believe.
This is
They got some talent.
little Coco all drugged out on Cody.
Yeah, poor yeah,
She is.
fighting.
Yeah.
She looks sad. She looks comfy though.
Oh,
She looks loved. That's the term. Loved.
she is high as a kite and out of it. Coco, you okay? Here, let's stretch you out just a little bit. Oh. Oh, she'll eventually recover, hopefully. But anything else you want to talk about league-wise? Chat, is there anything you want to talk about Valentine's Day special? Next week we're gonna open up the call lines since we have a week of like literally nothing going on. I'm gonna try and get us a guest for the week afterwards to talk about something. But next week I'm gonna just do like a full call episode where people can come in, give their takes, just try and
Yeah.
engage the community a little bit more. But is there anything you guys want us to talk about now? There's also a fun trivia game that I saw somebody posted in Discord for us
Okay.
that we'll take on the podcast.
You want to do that tonight?
No,
Trivia game?
we'll save it because
Oh,
we're
okay.
already at an hour now, and if this one ends a little bit early, I'm fine with that because it's more just a recap of in a state of where
Yeah.
everything's at the moment.
I will say I learned this like 3 weeks ago, and I just forgot to bring it up. But when they were doing all those counters and stuff, and the scoreboards were having issues on LCS, I never knew they hand jammed the kill counter.
Really?
Yeah, they were like they were updating the number themselves, or the number was stuck. I always thought it was some automated system.
I always thought it was two. What the hell?
I assume it is automated, and maybe the automation part broke, and that's why it looked like they were hand jamming it. But it was like taking a couple seconds after kills for it to go up, and it was making me chuckle like watching that. I'm 90% sure it is supposed to be automatic, and this is when it was just broken and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was chuckling pretty hard. Also, can we please get the dragon
Oh,
timer back?
yes, please. I miss it
Like,
so much. I hate like looking down and be like, oh, is it up? Nope. We have no clue when it's gonna be. And then it's like, oh, minute
yeah,
left. Everybody get your shit together. Time to go to Dragon.
it's pretty difficult to talk about the game. For like most coast troopers I watch too, listening to LCS, like you'll hear them saying like, all right, is Dragon up? We were doing the same thing too. They're going, all right, Dragon might be around when Baron is, so that could cause some problem. Like, it's hard to paint a picture
Yeah.
when you don't know. It's just very difficult. So,
I don't know.
not a fan of that. I don't know.
Well, with nothing else popping off in chat, I do want to thank The Magic Dragon and Vedius, or Vitus, for their follows. Shorter episode tonight, but it's the nature of nothing else really to look forward to next week, and kind of wanting to save some of the topics of like general discussion. We kind of touched on viewership, we touched on standings. Like, I don't feel like we missed anything. There's really not much else going on in like the general league community right now.
No.
Low budget
I mean,
LCS, we won our week 1 game.
Yeah, we're kind of dogs. So, I don't know what to tell people. Like, we're kind of cooking.
We're good.
Yeah. And that was probably one of our tougher ones too.
That'll be the worst we play all year too.
Hopefully.
No,
Hopefully.
I have faith. That's the worst that we will play all
I'm
year.
feeling pretty good it will be, because I think we're coming together. I think our team has put all the minds together.
Yeah. I put the me in team.
Yeah. The me in team.
Yeah, can't spell. You can.
That's
There
true.
there is
That's
no
true.
I in team, but there sure as hell is me.
Yup. Gosh dang it. Well, people better look out for next week.
Yeah.
Because we're coming for BYU. White.
There's so many jokes I want to make. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
I don't think we can. Honestly, you might need to just not stream that game.
No, I mean I'm still going to.
I know you will have to.
But it's like, do I stream it from my bathtub to throw them off? Like,
Yeah, you might.
do I just have like Coco soaking her feet in the background, like chilling in a little kiddie pool? Do I bring a bottle of liquor and like show it on screen to like scare them away?
I'm struggling too because I don't know how good they are. They haven't played this week, which I guess it doesn't matter. It's low budget LCS. Like, teams swing a lot. There's a lot of playing up and down in that league, I feel like. Like, we all kind of, every team is going to play up at some point and play down at some point. But they don't play till Friday at like 11:30. So I was chuckling.
So what you're saying is going to be a fast turnaround, almost as fast as BYU students get engaged.
All right. All right.
I'm sorry, did I say engaged? I meant married.
You keep making your jokes, but those cougs are on the prowl. Those cougs are coming. Well, not like that.
Nobody's coming to BYU.
Yeah, nobody's coming. No coming.
Do not come.
Yeah, I repeat, do not come. I am going to come.
Oh god.
Oh
Do you
man.
think they're gonna play Rek'Sai to get underground the same way they get underground to escape their own rules?
Oh my gosh. We can't say that. We're gonna get kicked out of the league. The worst part is, like, we don't even know if they're actually like if they subscribe to the faith or not, you know? Because you can just go to BYU, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Do you have to write like a faith statement to go?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you get kicked out if you don't follow it regardless.
Okay.
They find their own unique ways. Look, I've just been enjoying it because Liberty University's in the spotlight right now. Because two girls went on and like talked about the crazy rules. Like there's a curfew there, and
Yeah.
somebody went around asking the students like, "What's your favorite rule of Liberty?" And they're
They're
like,
like
"The curfew, because I got to get to bed and wake up early anyways." It's like
Liberty University is why I'm here.
you guys are a whole different.
Both my parents went to Liberty.
Really,
Yes.
really, no shit.
My dad went to seminary there. My mom went to nursing school.
No way.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked them about the rules?
At Liberty, no.
Okay, don't
I
ask.
went there as a kid with them, and they showed me around. But from when they went there to now, I have heard a lot of interesting things because there was a president that came. Whoever their last president was, he's gone now. But they had a president come in for a while who just really did a lot of things that not a lot of alumni liked, from what I understand.
In a progressive way or in a like Christian conservative way?
I don't know which way he was going. I'm pretty sure it wasn't progressive though. Like he was doing certain rules that even my parents were like, "This is crazy." They were like, "What is he doing to the school right now?" Because it is a school that is like supposed to be for just everybody
Yeah.
and all that jazz. So, and my parents were already, well, they weren't breaking the rule. They got around the rule because my dad had rented an apartment when he went to college, so my mom could come to his place.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That is
because
amazing.
you couldn't bring like your date into the dorm or something.
Yeah, no
My
opposite
dad was
genders
like,
are allowed in the dorm rooms.
yeah, my dad went, well, that sucks. So he found an apartment.
I've heard that the
Yeah.
like the underground party scenes there go absolutely wild, which makes
Oh, I'm
sense.
sure.
When you're in an environment where somebody tells you no,
Mhm.
when people find their way around it, they're not just going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to drink now." It's like, "No, I'm going to fucking drink now."
Yeah,
Like it swings so far pendulum the other way. And that
yeah,
goes for everything, not just drinking, that goes for drugs and everything else. It's like they like the
yep.
underground scenes there like, "Oh, just don't get caught. Do not get caught. You will fuck your life up real quick."
I mean, it's interesting too because my dad went there after he didn't go to college for a while because he was partying so much, and then he went to Liberty to get a seminary degree. Like, had a whole change of life moment, I guess, in like his mid 20s, and went there.
He said, "I'm going to get serious.
Yeah,
Find myself a wife."
yeah, he went there, found himself a wife, and then started driving for UPS out of there for some reason, even with a college degree. I was like, whatever, dude, do what you want.
I mean, hey, you do you.
Yeah, UPS drivers make a killing. So
They make what, 120,000 dollars a
yeah,
year
you
now?
can't. Bro, the benefits go so hard too.
I know.
Like that was the real reason. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. I need a good side story. I think it's funny.
No, that's amazing. I had no clue your parents went to Liberty. That's awesome.
Yeah, the only reason I'm alive is because two people met at Liberty and banged later.
That's me with Penn State McKeesport. Like the
Jeez.
branch campus of Penn State. It's like
Yep.
That's my parents. That's the guy that looks like me but with less hair. That's him.
Yeah.
All right. We dragged that on long enough. Paul and I are probably going to go play some games. Thank you all for tuning in. We will catch you next week on the next episode of the Crossover Podcast. Stream's not ending, but the podcast is. Adios.